Well, Donald Trump has indeed been elected the 47th president of the United States, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris. Meanwhile, Republicans win the Senate majority as control over the House, as we've been discussing, still up for grabs. For more on the latest, we've got Yahoo Finance's Ben Werschkul and Rick Newman. Thanks, guys, for being here. You know, we have been trying to sort of puzzle out throughout the day with this victory for Trump what he's going to be able to do and kind of what his first priorities are going to be. Ben, I know you've been sort of digging into that question. So where are we on that issue?
Yeah, basically what we can do is we can take what he's been promising pretty much every day of the last stretch of the campaign, and that's tariffs is a big one. I'll give you a sense of sort of what I'm focused on is something called the International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977. And I give you that example because these are the sort of things that the Trump team has been looking at as to sort of how they're going to implement their tariffs. So this is going to be very different from what it was in 2016, if you believe how they're approaching it, both the levels and how they're going to do it. So they're going to move really aggressively in that. And then the other big one is taxes, and that all depends on Congress, as we've been discussing, for sure.
And something else Trump can do, there are two other things Trump can do through executive action without Congress. Deporting the migrants, I mean, that's basically executive policy. I mean, I think we should take him at his word that he's going to try to do that because he was vociferous about that. And that seems like one of the messages that really resonated with voters. And then deregulation. So all of these, well, they're, you know, so I'm a little bit perplexed the markets are reacting as strongly as they are today because once Trump starts with those tariffs, markets are not going to be going up on Trump tariffs. They're going to be going down. And it's going to be a replay, perhaps an amplified replay of what we saw in 2018 when he was going through one round after another with China. And when it sounded like the tariffs were going to be more than expected, the market would tank. And then there'd be, oh, it's not going to be 15%, it's going to be 7.5%, and there'd be a little relief rally. Markets were manic in 2018 because of that trade war. So what do you think? Every reason to think that's going to come back.
What do you think's going on there, Rick? Do you think some investors are just thinking, well, you know, I have a solid economy, I've got strong earnings growth, I'll throw in some tax cuts and deregulation, and maybe that'll offset these tariffs that might come, maybe?
I mean, you know, overstated enthusiasm could be part of it. I mean, for one thing, there's a relief rally that it's over, and at least we kind of know what's going to happen. But some of this just does not make sense. I mean, so Trump, you know, most economists think Trump's tariffs are going to cause higher inflation than we would otherwise have, which is going to lead to higher interest rates than we would otherwise have. And the bond market is front running that. So that's one of the reasons long rates have been up and look like they're going to stay up. And that, you know, high interest rates and a booming stock market don't last together very long because, you know, higher interest rates are an alternative to stocks. And if inflation creeps in, you know, that's another thing because that erodes the real value of corporate earnings and all this. So, but I think investors right now are basically like, that's too far in the future for us to unravel. And in the meanwhile, there's some buying action here. All the Trump trades are full on, except I guess for DJT, his company, that actually is not doing nearly as well as some people were guessing.
It's been running up in recent days.
Another thing I'm really interested to watch is the tax part of this, the tax cut part. I think a lot of that is driving this. And there's a question of exactly what these are going to look like. People think they know if there's a Republican sweep that it's going to be a massive tax cut. I think it's going to be a lot more complicated than that. There's parts of the Republican Party.
I mean, I don't think there is going to be any business tax cut whatsoever.
Right. There's a lot of big,
even in a Republican
You don't think they're going to even extend the existing?
No, I think they are
going
to
extend.
But the ones that expire are not the business taxes.
The corporate
ones
tax
that expire are only the individual tax rates. And that's really what's been at play. Now, Trump did say he wants to cut the business tax even further from 21 to, you know, whatever, as low as 15. I don't think he has a chance.
And there are Republicans who have said for months now, kind of a populist wing of the Republican Party, that they aren't necessarily on board with the corporate tax cut. They'd be okay with it increasing even. They're not a fan of that. But a 15% rate, which is what Trump is proposing, is not going to be popular across this whole party.
Are there any deficit hawks left in Washington?
No, they're all gone.
Who will say no, you can't.
Just wait till the 10-year, hits 6 or 7% though. Then we will have deficit hawks.
It's a good thing that Lipton over here bought his house when he did. All right, thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it.